Before India became independent, it was under British rule for nearly 200 years. Many great leaders fought for freedom. Some chose peaceful protest. Some believed in negotiation. But one man believed freedom must be fought for. He was brave, he was intelligent, and he was ready to risk everything, even his life, for India. He left his family. He escaped British arrest. He traveled across countries. He built an army of Indian soldiers, and he gave the world a powerful message. Give me blood, and I will give you freedom. His dream was clear, an independent India where every Indian could live with pride. His name was Subhas Chandra Bose. India remembers him as Netaji, the respected leader. This is the story of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, the leader who gave everything for India's freedom. Subhas Chandra Bose was born on January 23, 1897, in Cuttack, Odisha. His father, Janakinath Bose, was a prominent lawyer. His mother, Prabhavati Devi, was deeply religious. Subhas was the ninth child among 14 siblings. He was serious, disciplined, and deeply thoughtful from a young age. He began school at Protestant European School, Stuart School in Cuttack. Later, he joined Ravenshaw Collegiate School, where he started reading Indian philosophy and was inspired by Swami Vivekananda. One day, after seeing a British officer mistreat an Indian worker, young Subhas asked, "Why are we treated like this in our own country?" That moment stayed with him forever. In 1913, Subhas moved to Calcutta and joined Presidency College to study philosophy. He was just 16 years old. He was brilliant, always among the top students, but he wasn't afraid to challenge authority. In 1916, when a British professor, E.F. Oaten, insulted Indian students, Subhas couldn't tolerate it. He led a protest and was expelled from the college. But he didn't give up. He joined Scottish Church College and in 1919 graduated with first-class honors in philosophy. His family hoped he joined the British civil service, like many elite Indians. So to please his father, Subhas agreed. But his soul was restless. In 1919, Subhas sailed to England. He studied at Fitzwilliam College, Cambridge, and in 1920 passed the Indian Civil Service's ICS exam, ranked fourth in the British Empire. But the more he studied, the more he understood the truth of colonialism. During those years, he read news that shook his soul, the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. On April 13, 1919, in Amritsar, thousands of Indians had gathered peacefully to protest the Rowlatt Act and demand political reforms. Many were also there for a religious festival. British Brigadier General Reginald Dyer entered the garden with armed troops. Without warning, without mercy, he ordered them to open fire on the crowd. The only exit was blocked. The garden was enclosed by walls. The shooting lasted about 10 minutes. Over 1,000 people were killed, and more than 1,500 injured in the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. Subhas was devastated. He sat alone in the college courtyard, thinking deeply, and one thought echoed in his mind. My soul is on fire. How can I serve such a government? He thought again. How can I wear their uniform when their bullets kill my people? On April 22, 1921, just before joining duty, Subhas resigned from the ICS. I will fight for India's freedom, not serve the rulers who enslaved my country. It was a bold decision, a turning point, the birth of a revolutionary. Subhas Chandra Bose returned to India in 1921, not as an ICS officer, but as a freedom fighter. He joined the Indian National Congress, the main political movement fighting for independence. There he met Mahatma Gandhi for the first time. Subhas respected Gandhi's commitment to the nation, but deep inside, he believed that nonviolence alone might not be enough. India needed bold action. He began working with C.R. Das, a senior leader in Bengal who became his mentor. In 1923, while working with C.R. Das, Bose became the editor of the Bengali newspaper Swaraj. Through bold articles, he exposed British injustice and called for complete independence. In 1927, he launched another weekly newspaper, Forward, which became the voice of the nationalist youth. The British saw his words as dangerous, but for the people, they were a call to action. Das believed in giving young Indians a political voice. And under his guidance, Subhas became the chief executive officer of Calcutta Corporation. He walked through the streets of Bengal, not as a ruler, but as a servant of the people. He strengthened education, improved sanitation, fought for workers' rights, and inspired thousands of youth. People began to call him Desh Nayak, the hero of the nation. But as his popularity rose, so did British fear. In 1924, Subhas was arrested without trial. He was sent to prison in Mandalay, Burma, far from home, far from his people. He fell seriously ill with tuberculosis, but even in sickness, his spirit never gave up. He spent his prison days reading, writing, and thinking, dreaming of a free India. Between 1921 and 1941, Subhas Chandra Bose was jailed 11 times for his speeches, his writings, and his fearless protests. He had supported the non-cooperation movement led by Gandhi. But over time, he began to feel that peaceful protest alone would not be enough. We must prepare not just to resist, but to overthrow British rule. In 1938, Subhas was elected president of the Indian National Congress. That year, he created the National Planning Committee, NPC, to draft a blueprint for India's future development. He called for industrialization, scientific modernization, national defense, and complete independence. But these ideas stood in contrast to Gandhi's vision, which focused on a village-based economy and non-violence. The two leaders respected each other deeply, but their paths were no longer the same. In 1939, Subhas ran for re-election and defeated Gandhiji's preferred candidate, Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. After the results, Gandhi said, "Pattabhi's defeat is my defeat." Many senior leaders resigned from the working committee. The party was divided. Subhas was heartbroken. He had never wanted to divide the movement. So, out of deep respect, he resigned from the presidency. But he did not step back from the fight. He formed the Forward Bloc to unite farmers, workers, and youth under one goal: complete independence. By 1940, the world was at war, and India was still under British rule. Without asking the Indian people, the British dragged India into World War II. Subhas saw a global opportunity. The British Empire was stretched thin. This was the moment to strike for freedom. But the British saw him as dangerous. In July 1940, they placed him under house arrest in Calcutta. But on the night of January 16, 1941, Subhas Chandra Bose escaped, disguised as Mohammad Ziauddin, a Pathan insurance agent. He wore a long coat, glasses, and a thick beard. His nephew, Sisir Bose, drove him out of the city in the dark of night. They traveled over 1,500 kilometers to Peshawar, risking arrest at every checkpoint. With the help of Indian revolutionaries, Subhas crossed into Afghanistan, reached Moscow, and finally arrived in Berlin, Germany in April 1941. He had escaped the empire, and now he planned to challenge it from the outside. In Berlin, Bose established the Free India Center and began Azad Hind Radio, broadcasting messages to Indians across Asia, Africa, and Europe. He formed the Free India Legion, a special army of around 3,000 Indian soldiers who had been captured by the Germans during World War II in North Africa. He even met Adolf Hitler in May 1942, but the Germans gave little support beyond symbolic help. Realizing Germany could not help India directly, Bose prepared for a journey to the east, to Japan where a real army was waiting. In early 1943, Bose took a dangerous submarine journey from Europe to Asia, switching from a German U-boat to a Japanese submarine in the Indian Ocean. He reached Sumatra, then arrived in Singapore in July 1943. There, he took command of the Indian National Army, INA, originally started by Rash Behari Bose and Captain Mohan Singh. On October 21, 1943, he announced the formation of the Provisional Government of Free India, Azad Hind. He gave his most famous speech, "Give me blood, and I will give you freedom." With Japanese support, the INA moved through Burma, now Myanmar, and reached the Indian border. They hoisted the Indian flag at Morang, Manipur, the first Indian territory to be freed from British rule. The INA included men and women. The Rani of Jhansi Regiment, led by Captain Lakshmi Sehgal, was one of the first all-women combat units in the world. The INA fought bravely in Imphal and Kohima in 1944, but suffered heavy losses. Poor weather, weak supply lines, and disease forced them to retreat. Still, they had shown the world that Indians were willing to fight and die for freedom. In August 1945, after Japan surrendered in World War II, Netaji prepared to move to Manchuria, seeking new support. On August 18, he boarded a Japanese plane from Taipei, Taiwan. Shortly after takeoff, the plane crashed. Subhas was taken to Nanman Military Hospital, badly burned. He reportedly died that night. But his body was never recovered. No Indian official ever saw it. And so, the mystery began. Did he really die in that crash? Or did he live on, in hiding? Even today, no one knows for sure. After the war, the British put INA officers on trial in Delhi. The public reaction was explosive. Mass protests erupted. Even Indian soldiers in the Royal Indian Navy began to rebel in 1946. The British feared losing control of their army. After years of struggle and the sacrifices of countless freedom fighters, India finally became free on August 15, 1947. Though Netaji never saw the day of freedom, his sacrifice played a key role in making it happen. He gave up his career, he gave up comfort, he gave up safety, and perhaps he gave up his life. "Give me blood, and I will give you freedom." He didn't just speak those words, he lived them. Even today, his name lives in the heart of every Indian. Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, the leader who gave everything for India's freedom. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and join us for more stories of history and courage.